Perfect. We're live, guys.
Woo!
Because apparently our recording is not working super amazingly here. So we'll just make a video out of a live video. So, Mr. Powell, how did your matchups go tonight before you were so rudely interrupted by YouTube?
Well, obviously they were good because I finished 3-0, so that was great. So round one, we faced off against a black-white kind of legendary creature deck. It was looking to use the cheap black and white knights, Blackblade Reforged into Windgrace and Lyra.
Yeah.
So that was a good first game, absolutely run over in the second, and then not beating around the bush and absolutely walloping in game three. Again, went to Fairy Ultimates and you start exiling cards, it goes very badly wrong.
Yes.
So a couple of things to talk about. Obviously the cast downs are not great against those legendary creatures.
Yeah.
But you can seal them away, and obviously Settle and Vraska's works just wonderfully. So whilst there is a lot of removal, it really meshes nicely to be able to deal with any threats.
Yeah.
And when you can keep their creature limit down to, one or maybe two creatures, Eldest Reborn really does work. Rona was quite key there. A couple of times Teferi got nailed and Rona just gets him back. So that was the first round. Second round, we were against a mono red deck looking to leverage Sarkhan into the dragon. Comes down, deals you 5 unless you sack a creature.
Yeah.
Obviously, Goblin Chainwhirler was in there. A couple of other aggressive creatures. That was pretty good because the threats were generally big enough that you could syncopate them.
Yeah.
Or they came out one at a time, and that was easy to handle. There weren't too many legendary creatures, and again, that the 6 cards between Vraska's and the Eldest Reborn really deals with Planeswalkers quite handily.
Oh yeah.
So that was quite good. Again, game 1 was a win. Game 2 got run over, and game 3 was a win. Game 3 really close, and almost lethal Banefire, but we managed to work through that. And then the final round was against a red-white Boros deck. It wasn't leaning heavily on Mentor, but it was looking to swing in with Aurelia and some of the more aggressive, lower curve creatures.
Yeah.
We miscalculated in game 2, and also were really tight on mana, so that one didn't go so well. But game 3 was quite long, quite a slugfest. But once you get a Flipped Azcanta, a Teferi, you're sitting on 2 Settles and a Cleansing Nova, it doesn't really go wrong from there.
Yeah.
So no kind of rock, no black green. Nick obviously didn't want to come out and face the homebrew skills. But all joking aside, I'd be interested in playing that matchup. I think it would be quite interesting to see how this suite kind of matched up. Because there is a lot of removal. You can deal with the Planeswalkers, so I would feel reasonably confident in that one. I'm not saying it'd be a pushover by any means, but it would be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
There weren't too many of the red decks. I think they appeared a lot last week.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 last week.
Not that I knew what to expect because I'm down here so infrequently. I have no idea, but I think they might be a bit more of a struggle, which is where you're really leaning on your early removal, right?
Yeah.
But then again, if you can get into that full 5 mana stage, then you should feel relatively confident about being able to stabilize. And again, Eldest getting back creatures is just super good, especially when you Rona it and use it like 2 or 3 times. And Khan's on a Teferi, exiling 4 cards before they get to play another turn is one of the dirtier things that the deck does. Wrath actually was relevant a couple of times, flashing things in. Phyrex Inscriptures is kind of slow. They see it coming, but if you can flash it in at the end of turn, you can surprise them in combat by making a creature bigger, and then wipe their stuff away. Flashing in an Eldest is also really good. I didn't really flash in any Planeswalkers, not that you couldn't, but you miss your turn activation anyway, so it's not the best, but it's something that's usable. But no, all in all, I didn't feel too under pressure in the matchups in the sense that I didn't feel like I was super lucky.
Yeah.
I felt good about those. That said, standard's wild at the moment, so
it's all over the place.
There was a hex-proof deck that could have given me some trouble, but again, that's where you lean on your Eldests, because if they've only got one massive creature, it's getting sacrificed.
Yeah.
So no, it was good. I felt confident about the deck, and it's going to be here if anyone wants to play with this disgusting mess of making people cry.
Yeah, maybe it'll have a sideboard too.
Maybe next week it will have a sideboard. But yeah, but another thing is right now we were just playing the same 60 in every single game.
Obviously, it worked.
It worked well enough, yeah. And after we joked about me not having a hope in hell of winning an F&M, which is just
I'll
hilarious.
just do it a week later. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, it's all good.
Is there anything that you feel like you maybe need to cut any or add more of, or did you feel pretty even across the board?
I think you could probably realistically. There's an argument to Phyrexian Scriptures was fun, and Khan's Temporal Sunderer was really fun, but that's Winmore.
Yeah.
I think these two you could probably get rid of, and there's an argument for trimming down on cast downs and a seal away, maybe 3 of each of those. I'm not 100% certain what you'd put in. Wrath you could cut. I mean, it's cute doing things at instant speed.
Yeah.
The flying threat, clocking in the air, is not irrelevant, especially if you're tucking stuff with Teferi. That's actually a legitimate way to get the win. I really liked Rona. I like the ability to reuse any of your really business spells up here. You know, you're getting back a Planeswalker, you're getting back a Saga. You can even get back a Wrath if you need to. Getting back a Search for Azcanta is not terrible either. So I probably would change things, but I think I'd need to sit down and look at what other decks are out there and what threats I'd need to negate. I think there's some lack of synergy in the deck that's made up for in raw power.
Yeah.
Syncopate is good, but the exile clause is not irrelevant when you're sitting on things like the Eldest Reborn. So there's definitely some tweaking. I mean, West Syncopate's great though. Is turn 2 or 3, they're playing a threat, and you can choose whether you syncopate it or whether you cast it down or whether you seal it away. So it's very nice to have that, but I definitely relook at this. But overall, very, very happy with it.
Did you make it up this morning, or did you kind of have it sitting in your head and you just went for it today?
So what I did in terms of the creation process, which is kind of what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
I sat down. I was making I went on to MTG Goldfish, and I was making, I think, 6 budget decks. I'm running a Magic Club at Punledge Local School, and I leave decks down here for people to play at F&M. So I chucked out 8 decks, started with a budget, and then built them up. Some got dual lands, some got this, some got that. And then when it came to what I would play, I was like, what have I got left? And so, I was looking at the 2/2 flying bird that brings back things when you cast a historic spell from the graveyard, and that's kind of how it started, full on historic theme with the 7/7 Traxos and other things. So, I had about 80 cards in the pile, and I was looking at stuff, and I was like, well, Teferi's and brews don't have to be awful.
No, they don't. Yeah.
You should be using good cards. So. Obviously, I looked at Teferi. I think Khan's a great card. Search for Azcanta is super good. And I started bringing these things in. And so the Bird Cleric lost some synergy there. And it ended up being, because I still wanted the historic theme, it ended up being, well, how do I survive to use the good cards? Yeah. That's where this came in 100%. And Vraska's and Settles are just always good. And really, I was very much, it's difficult to build a control deck when you don't know what you're going to be playing against, because control decks benefit from being a settled meta, where you know what the threats are, you know what you need to negate and handle. So I was really hedging a lot on what if there's a lot of token strategies, what if there's a lot of aggro, what if there's a lot of hexproof, what if there's this, what if there's that. So I just I tried to build a toolbox that could handle anything. Yeah. And in the end, it could handle what was there on the night.
Yeah.
Could it handle a different week? Maybe the red decks were too quick for it. Yeah. I don't know. But that's kind of, I started with one idea, and I ended up somewhere kind of different, but roughly on theme, because we kept the historic element, which is kind of what I was going for, and that was the theme. It was, how can I make an historic deck, and this is what I ended up with. But yeah, Teferi's obviously the MVP, and I'm sure people will be 1,000% glad to see the back of him when he rotates.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
because he's so good.
I think I've lost to him every time he's hit the board in MTG Arena.
You don't often beat a Teferi and MTG Arena because the card pool availability right now is
Is a little lacking.
when you're playing with 3 decks and someone plays Teferi, you know you're in for a hiding.
You lose, yeah.
Yeah, you lose. But no, it was super good fun, and I like to, a lot of the time when I come down to FNM, and everyone's different. A lot of people come down to win. I'm coming down to just like test my Johnny legs. I want to see what a brew can do and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And albeit sometimes that comes at the expense of someone else's fun.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
But the way I like to look at it, Josh, is that I'm having more than double the fun. So the net fun is in positive, right? They're having no fun, but I'm having more than double the fun. So the net fun is
it's enough fun for everyone.
The balance sheet is up. But no, it's nice to come down with something that you brewed up, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
and when it does work, it's sweet.
It's when it works, it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, that's kind of the process today, but hence why no sideboard, because I was just like, you know what, I built 8 decks today.
How do you sideboard for a meta that you don't know?
I can't put another 15 cards in this. I'm just gonna go and whatever. And lo and behold, that was good enough on the night.
It worked,
no, it was great. But yeah, it'll be here. If people want to play with it, then they're more than welcome to. If they want to just look at it and talk about how terrible I am, then that's also fine.
We can handle it.
Yeah, totally. But no, it was a great night.
Well, thanks for coming out, and we'll hopefully upload this video properly this time, guys, and everyone will be able to enjoy it. Like, subscribe, comment, shoot baby kittens into the air, do whatever you want.
And don't forget to come down and support your local game store as well.
Yeah. Or I'll have to leave forever.
Don't do that.
Oh, God. I'm just going to pick this up and get
And then
awkward. What's going on here, guys? Yeah. This thing. I think I just cut that, and then it asked me if I want to...
Yeah.